Vick flushed out, and he is loose again. Midfield. Vick. He's made go. He will. Touchdown, Michael Vick.
The position is ready to transform. Everyone says it's a quarterback league, but this is different. This is somebody doing something even more dynamic, more explosive. I don't know if I've ever seen like it.
And there is Vick, as you talked about, John, rolling and launching downfield for Deshaun Jackson, who accelerates from the opening play and all the way for a touchdown.
Wow. I don't know how you stop this guy.
Now that's a highlight reel. Our next guest was the #1 overall pick in the 2001 NFL Draft and immediately transformed the position of quarterback. You just saw it, a 4-time Pro Bowler and the NFL's all-time leader in rushing yards. For a quarterback, we welcome Mike Vick to First Take. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Mike,
Thanks for having me. I appreciate all y'all.
Mike, I want to start with Cam here. Now, obviously, you're no stranger to punishment, of course, being a mobile quarterback. What are your thoughts on him complaining about those hits that he's taking?
Well, look, we all understand where Cam's coming from. You're going to get hit low. Guys are going to take shots. They're gunning at you. From what happened last year and what transpired throughout their season, all the fun they was having, a lot of guys, may be a little, upset about that, and they want to take their shots, and they're going to try to get their shots. That's just the nature of the NFL, and I think, Cam just has to roll with the punches, man. You can't really complain about it. You can't get upset. The one thing I learned, the more you complain, the more the refs are going to ignore you, when you're in the air trying to get a call. They act as if they don't hear you. So he just has to play ball and not, depend on the refs to get a call, because you may get one in the game, and that's it. And you have to continue to play.
Mike, what role do you believe Cam has played in seemingly being targeted more? Guys going to want to hit you regardless. But do you think whether it's the dabbing, it's the celebrations, it's the talking that they did last year in the throws of that 15 in one season, that there's still residue from that has players targeting him even more?
Like I said, when you look at all the showboating last year, the guys, they were having fun, and that's what the NFL season's supposed to consist of. When guys out there building chemistry, the camaraderie, having fun playing the game. But when you take it upon yourself or your teammates to, showboat and throw that in everybody's face, some guys are not going to like that. And you have to understand, if you're a Super Bowl contending team, if you made it to the Super Bowl and you didn't win it, everybody know the next year that you're going to be a tough competitor. You're going to be a tough team, and you have to, just be ready for whatever is going to come. And right now, it's just a little backlash from that, from all the dabbing, all the showboating, all the celebrating, and it's just something that Cam has to deal with. He's done a great job so far. I think the team is a step behind from what happened last year. They're not looking as good as they did last year, but they're slowly but surely getting on track, and I think that's all you can ask for. But as of right now, those calls may come, they may not come. He just has to roll with the punches.
Mike, you always displayed, particularly later in your career, in fact, incredible kind of old-school toughness. As a little guy, taking savage shots and dusting yourself off, picking yourself back up and going at it again until physically you couldn't anymore with some of those shots you were taking,
Right.
in given games and seasons. How do you feel having that mentality, watching Cam, a big, strong guy with the increased quarterback protection year in and year out we see, complaining about getting hit too much? Does that at all rub you the wrong way?
Well, I kind of look at it as, I was a guy who was 6 feet, 212 pounds, didn't really do much complaining. I did more complaining to my coaches and maybe to Roger at times to try to get calls than I did to the referees, because I know in the heat of the moment, nobody really cares. I mean, you're going to get those calls, whether they make a difference in the game or not, who knows? But you have to just go out there and continue to just stay focused on the task at hand. I was a guy who just laid it all out on the line. The referees were secondary to me, not primary. I didn't care whether I got a call or not. Sometimes I did if I felt like it was too flagrant. Then I would maybe hint something to the ref. But other than that, you have to just go out and play. You're not going to win a game getting 15-yard penalties. Maybe, maybe not. But for the most part, no. So, yeah, I just tried to lay it all out in the line, and I think we all seen that on a consistent basis for me. And I think Cam should do the same thing. But I really wish that I was 6'5", 245 pounds, because my game would have been a different dynamic.
Well, having said all of that, Mike, being gone for a couple of seasons before you ultimately came back, you balled for a couple of years for the Philadelphia Eagles. I want you to talk about what happened to your career and why you're not playing now, because we see a lot of quarterbacks that are clearly mediocre. And when you look at the way the game has evolved and how the running quarterback can still do damage in today's game, you got a lot of folks out there still salivating about the Michael Vick of old, wishing that guy could still be out there doing the kind of things that he's capable of doing. Why is Michael Vick not playing in the NFL today? What would you say happened to your career in the latter part of it?
You know what, I can honestly say I really don't know what happened. You know, I felt like I was doing the best that I could, being the best teammate, being the consummate teammate that I can be. I know in Pittsburgh, I came in late. I came in August, and I felt like I can get a grasp of the offense. And being a veteran and the player with the experience that I had, I felt like I can come in and run the show if deemed necessary. I felt like when I was in New York, I did a pretty good job when I stepped in. I wasn't as sharp as I wanted to be, but that just comes with, you know, getting reps. And I wasn't getting reps. I was, you know, in the back at practice, you know, standing behind, you know, Gino, not getting the opportunity to get the reps that I needed to be the best that I can be. Now, I knew that I could get the job done. You know, it's all about, you know, your confidence and how you feel and your preparation. And I think the moral of the story is that in my heart of hearts, I'm a full-time starter. I'm not a backup. I was so used to that regimen for 13 years, being a starter, being the face of a franchise, and it was tough for me to handle. And, you know, it's similar to the situation that I think Tony Romo is going through, not what he's about to go through, because I think the future is bright for him. But, you know, being in a desolate place where you feel as if, you know, everything is crashing down, your career is coming to an end, you start to panic and you start to press, and that's natural for a football player to be faced with those situations. And I kind of accepted it. I really still don't understand why I'm not playing, but I'm getting used to not playing, so that's not a good thing.
Mike, you brought up Tony Romo. I want to bring up another quarterback we've been debating on this show, Tom Brady, who's played at an all-universe level this year on a per-game basis, but has missed 4 games, is now 4-1 when the second and third string quarterbacks were a combined 3-1 without him. And yet he's being mentioned by many as a potential MVP candidate, including by Stephen A. Smith and Molly.
Yes.
I say you can't miss a quarter of your season's games and be an MVP. What do you say?
Educate him, Mike. Educate him.
Max, well, give me a second, Stephen A., because to a certain degree, I agree with what Max is saying.
Drop the mic. I just dropped the mic on you, Stephen A.
He served the suspension, 4 games. Yes, he's came back and he's played incredible, and he's looked like the Tom Brady of old, the Tom Brady that we're used to seeing. You know, has he done some good things? Yes. Are there other players out in the NFL that's doing great things? Yes. Is Tom Brady still a great player? We all agree. I think we would all agree, yes. But to only play 4 games and be considered, well, 4 or 5 games and miss 4 games and be considered an MVP candidate, I think it's kind of far-fetched right now when you have guys like Dak Prescott and Russell Wilson playing at a very high level right now. I think it can't be overlooked. And then you also have Ezekiel Elliott who's playing at a high level.
Don't mince words. Go ahead. Tell Stephen A. Smith, Max is right and you're wrong. Go ahead. It's okay. It feels good. You'll like it.
Michael Vick, That is
Max
just
is right.
blasphemous.
Steven, you're wrong.
How dare you interrupt that man?
Michael Vick, that's just blasphemous. I can't believe you're a traitor. I can't believe that you just
Max
said
is right. Steven, you're wrong.
He just messing with me, Max. He's just messing with me. He's just messing with me.
Sounds great every time.
Check this
That's my
out.
new
Check this out,
ringtone.
Michael Vick.
Hey,
So
Steven,
if
you lost that one, Steven. You lost that one.
Let me ask you this,
hell.
Mike. So if Tom Brady rolls out and drops 32 touchdowns, only throws about 3 or 4 interceptions, goes 11-1 in 12 games, you trying to tell me just because he missed 4 games, he can't be MVP? That's what you're saying?
Look, I think because he was faced with so much adversity in the beginning of the year that it can be taken into consideration of him being the MVP. Now, I do stand on that. But we have to account for the 4 games. Now, if you got a guy like Dak Prescott who plays 16 games and has a full body of work and they still make the playoffs, then how can you debate that? So
what if Tom Brady's
it's going to be
record ends up
interesting
being
to
better
see.
than
Look,
that?
I'm pulling for Tom.
Hey, by the way, Stephen A., he's already got a loss, and there's the second
Then you
string doesn't have any
have to
losses.
take it into consideration.
I cannot believe what Michael Vick is saying right now. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. Okay.
I gotta keep it real. I gotta keep it real in the football world.
All right. You keeping it real with your Cubs hat on, even though
How's
you're
that
from
L
Virginia,
feel,
not
Stephen A?
Chicago. It's all right.
Absolutely, I jumped on the bandwagon. I jumped on the bandwagon like everybody else. I got a new team, the Chicago Cubs. We made history this year.
I got you. What is your thought about your old team, the Atlanta Falcons, and what you've been seeing from Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, and the crew since they are leading the NFC South? What's been your thoughts about that?
I think they're playing some pretty good football. Now, it's not the most consistent. I think on offense, they're doing a great job. It seems like the offense is moving fluently. There's no problems there. I think, Kyle Shanahan has done a great job with Matt Ryan, and I think Matt Ryan is very comfortable in what they're doing. Julio Jones looks phenomenal. He can be another MVP candidate, hands down, but we know receivers don't win the MVP. But the defense has to play better, and it's very inconsistent. It's kind of hard for me to watch. Last week, watching Atlanta and Philly was very difficult to watch. I had to root for somebody, so I just stayed neutral. But I think as the season goes on, down the stretch when it's extremely important to be at your best, I think this is a team that really has to focus on getting better on the defensive side of the ball, because we all know defense wins championships. The offense is just complementary, and that's the only way they're going to get it done. So I'm rooting for them. I'm pulling, for those guys to put it all together, and I think they will.
Mike, you mentioned that Matt Ryan looks comfortable with, what has to do, and he's making some throws that very few guys can make and all that. But considering everyone's situation under center this year in the NFL, who is the best quarterback in football in 2016?
Man, it's tough to say who's the best. It's a lot of good ones out there, man. And I know David Carr's playing well. I know, like I said, Dak Prescott is playing extremely well. Tom Brady looks like a spitting image of himself week in and week out.
Man, you dancing more than Max.
I would hate to say this.
Give it to me.
And I got to be real. Listen, Steve, I got to be candid. And I'm going to be honest, man. Right now, people might get offended, but as I watch the whole body of work, like I said, Dak Prescott, to me, is the most consistent quarterback right now.
How about
I
them
would
Cowboys?
say Tom Brady if I would have seen his first 4 games. How about those Cowboys, Molly? They look good. I mean, you can't take nothing away from them. I know a lot of Cowboys fans out here.
Mike, they in our ear. They telling us you got to go. They telling us you got to go. Mike, they telling us you got to go. They telling us you got to. I cannot believe you.
Don't make me leave for keeping it real. Don't make me leave for keeping it real. I'm here for 30 minutes.
Mike, we so appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us. But next time, can you not big time us? Can you be here in studio and not upgrade for that sunshine?
Next time I will be there. We'll coordinate it. We'll set it up.
All right. We appreciate you. Thank
I
you
don't
so
know
much.
about that. I don't know about that.
Thanks for having
When
me.
we come back,
Good to see you, bro.
Michael Jordan praises Westbrook, but is he giving a backdoor insult to KD? We get into it.
I'm not saying